I'm Ann Manat, and these are some beginner's tips for the Art of Allowing course with Flora Abe. So welcome everybody to my home studio. As you can see, it's just a corner of my living room. And probably the other thing that you see right away is how dark it is in here. So I'm going to go over the supplies that you'll be needing, which I've got set up right here on the table. But first I'm going to turn on some lights. I'll show you later what I've done to solve the problem of lighting. If you can find a place that has lots of natural lighting, I think that's best. I'm going to be converting a porch of mine. There we go, that's better. Okay, so as you can see, that really helps. Although I do turn her while I'm painting so that I can get even more natural light. It's a very cloudy, dark day here today. So, okay, well let's start with the list of supplies that you got. And the first thing on the list, well, let me back up and just tell you, I was fortunate to go to Flora's studio to paint for the very first time. This was just a few weeks ago, and she had everything set up nicely. Everything was arranged beautifully on a very nice easel with a 24 by 36 by 1.5 inch canvas, stretched canvas. So that's how we were set up. So as soon as I left, I wanted to set myself up just like I'd done at Flora's. Of course, that was a little bit difficult because she has such a beautiful space. So what I did was I started with the paint, and this is the first thing on your list, the golden liquid acrylics. And this is what they look like. I wanted you to see the bottles because when I went in there, there's a number of golden paints, and since I'd used them, I knew exactly what to get. This is the 1 ounce size. This is the 4 ounce size. And what I found in my little local shop is that all of these golden paints were discounted. And you'll also find that online. We've given you some links. So normally for the golden fluid acrylics, you want to pay about 2/3 of the price of the list price. And we've given you some ways to do that in your email. Now, Flora has given you a beautiful, what did we call it? I think I called it her dream list. And those are the colors that she uses most often. When I went to the store, they had this set of 10 paints for, I think it was $40 or so. And since I knew I was going to be painting, I knew right away I wanted to paint a lot. I went ahead and bought this. It has one of my favorite colors in it, which was magenta. And I'm going to show you how I used the magenta on my first painting for the face. It didn't have some of Flora's favorite colors in it. And so, you know, this is just a basic set. Now, I got started really well with just the set. I did my second painting totally with this group of paints plus one other. And that was raw umber. I use raw umber to outline the faces, and so I really liked having that. So I bought this one extra. And then as I was checking out, they gave me a beautiful small, I think it's 1/2 ounce, just like a, what do you call it, sample of indigo. And that was fun too, and that's how I got started on doing the nighttime sky. So as you can see, the colors kind of influence you, they inspire you. Now, you're probably noticing that I have lots of other colors here in the background. I went a little crazy. I did need more white at some point, and the titanium white is the good thing to buy to start with. One of the reasons it's so great and that you'll need this particular white is that it covers nicely. So say you want to totally cover something up you've just painted, or mix it with a color to, you know, cover nicely. You want titanium white. I have bought 2 other whites because I'm going a little crazy. You don't need to do this. This is a buff, which is really fun. It just gives it kind of a warm tone. And this is the zinc, which doesn't cover as thoroughly, which means that you can kind of lighten the colors and it won't be quite so chalky. That's nice sometimes on faces or eyes or things like that as well. What else did I get here? So some of the other colors, you know, I got bigger bottles of some of the colors I like burnt sienna. Here's one that I had a certain problem or issue, and this nickel azo yellow is something that Flora had suggested to me. So that was fun. Now here's something really fun. Here's some bronze and pearl. In a few of Flora's paintings, you can't really tell in the pictures, she's used some metallic type things. And the pearl's fun. It gives just a little bit of glow to the colors if you mix it with the colors. I put some in the night sky for my second painting. But none of this is necessary. What's fun is, and because they're so expensive, you know, just go to the list and buy the ones that Flora told you to. Let's see, she has on the top of the list I call it Q nickel azo gold because I don't know how to say that word. Quinacridone. I'll figure it out. The turquoise, the phthalo turquoise, and the alizarin crimson. So basically you've got a yellow, a blue, and a red. And as you might remember from class very early on, if you have those 3 colors, here they are, you can make just about anything. And then she's also wanting you to buy a large white, and that's a good idea. So there's the large. Okay, let me move through a little more quickly here. I know some of you know all of this already. In the end, I also got some turquoise, some Payne's gray, which I really love. It's kind of a dark bluish gray. And here's one of Flora's favorite colors. This is the Q nickel azo gold. So that's on your list, okay? So that's kind of what it is with paints. Now you can get cheaper paint. I don't recommend it to start with because you're going to get these wonderful effects by using your hands and mixing on the faces, which is mainly what we're going to be doing. So start with those 4 bottles, the white, the nickel azo gold, the turquoise, and the crimson in golden fluid acrylics. You can get them online a little cheaper. You can get them either at Blick's Art Store or I think it's called Utrecht. Those are both owned by the same people. And here's the golden glazing liquid. That was something else that was on your list. I think there's a, let me look. Yes, she has put another brand on here. The Liquitex glazing liquid is probably cheaper. I just bought this one because I happen to be there. Okay, and that's fine to get a cheaper brand for the glazing liquid. You'll mix this with the paint and or just put it over the paint. Okay, let's see. Now, as far as brushes, when we came into the studio, Flora had jars similar to this. And what you want is jars that are tall enough to hold your brushes. So like these large brushes don't fall over, because this is how I store my brushes. You want to store them, you know, with the bristles up, right? So these are just mason jars, actually. I had them for canning some stuff, and that didn't work out, so now there's this. And I'm going to show you, when I went to the store, I bought only 3 brushes. Because these were the 3 brushes that I used when I was at Flora's. 3 brushes and then the foam, and I'll show you the foam in a minute. So for you real beginners like me, this is called a filbert. And it's kind of softly rounded. And I bought a filbert 12, and I believe this is a 10. I'm getting a lot of paint on here now, so it's hard to see. Oh no, 14, that's right. They get smaller as the numbers get bigger. So there's a 12 and a 14. I think on your list it said 12 and 16, and that's fine. That works just fine. I'm gonna, when I go up to the paintings in a minute, I'm gonna show you how we use these, but we do a lot of the painting of the face with these beautiful large filberts. And then here is a number 2 bright. And apparently in the world of brushes, bright means the straight, flat one. You see that? It's just straight and flat. Let me put something behind it so you can really see how it looks. See that? Now, with this one, and the brushes in general, I would say, if you can, before you order, the ones that I've got on the list to order from Bix is just fine, but if you can, go and feel them. These are your artist tools, and so it's really nice to like hold them in your hand. I like, and I've seen most people use, very long handles. So these are long handled, they're quite substantial. And the really important thing about this bright is that it's kind of stiff. So when you go like this, it's kind of stiff, it's not soft. You'll see the difference. These are softer, right? So there's a stiff one. And we're gonna use this to outline her face. So that's why it's so wonderful to have a nice stiff line. That's a number 2. These are the 3 that I use every single day when I paint, plus the foam. And here are 2 examples of foam. This one right here is a little cheaper. They're very cheap anyway. They're all under like $1. I don't recommend the one with a plastic handle. These nice wooden handled ones are the ones that are better quality. They're a little stiffer. They hold paint better. So get those. And she said to get a couple of each. There's the 1 inch and the 2 inch. Very simple. All of this is at the store. Now, when I was looking at brushes, and Flora has some other brushes on the list, and we can talk about those next week. We'll probably have another little video. She can give you the real down low. I'm a beginner, so this is just from my viewpoint. I did buy a little set. It was a set like this that had a few different brushes in it. And, let's see, it was $10. And that was so I could try different shapes. You can see there's some straight ones, there's some round ones, there's even some curved line ones. I haven't used those very much, but that was kind of fun to try. This nice big flat one, I was trying making different kind of flowers with that. But as you can see, these kind of things just come later. So you don't, if you buy these 3 brushes and the foam, you can get started. And I promise you, you'll know what else you want. These are my latest purchase. They had a special at Michael's. Michael's Crafts is a nice place to buy these. This is a number 1 bright. And that means it's a little thinner, so I think that might be fun. And then this one has a little tiny, tiny, tiny pointed tip, which frankly I bought so that I could correct some of my mistakes. Okay, so that's what you need as far as brushes. You need a water bottle. We're going to be spraying water on the painting. It's very fun. You need one of these. I would just make sure that it's kind of fine mist. You need something to draw with, and I bought some artist pencils and some, don't forget a sharpener. I forgot one and had to use a knife, right? Flora uses charcoal, a little piece of charcoal to draw with, so whatever you like to draw with, that's fine. I needed an eraser as well because that's where I'm at with my drawing. Not very good drawer. This is pink soap. This is what you clean your brushes with. And I bought a little tiny bottle because it was cheap, and I went through it really quickly. So go ahead and buy a nice big bottle of the pink soap because you want to keep your brushes very clean. Okay, look, I think that's about it. The other really important thing that you'll see in the background is paper towels. We use those a lot. Acrylics are very forgiving, and you can actually wet a paper towel and wipe some of the paint off. In Flora's video, I think you've seen her doing that when she was working with the big canvas right at the beginning. She would wipe and wipe. She does a lot of wiping. I do have a lot of wiping because I make mistakes or I don't like what I've just done. You can also see back here I've got baskets to hold the paints in. There's a box, you know, just trying to keep things neat and tidy a little bit. Okay, so let me see if there's anything else on the list that I can talk to you about. if I haven't gone over anything, it's because I don't know much about it and I haven't bought one yet. For example, these other brushes that she talks about. Small, let's see, round. She said we needed a 2-inch from the hardware store. So those kind of things. You'll be learning from her, obviously. Okay, so a couple more things. When I first went to the store, I thought to myself, well, I need a palette, right? Like a real artist. However, when we were working at Flora's house, we used paper plates. And I'm telling you, I love paper plates. Don't ask me why I've kept all of these. This is the number of paper plates I've used for 2 paintings. And, well, one of the reasons I kept it is because they're so beautiful. And what I really like about this is I'm able to go back and mix the paint right on. For example, this is my blue and lavender that I was using in my new painting. And because it's right here on the paper plate, I can go back and mix it and get it to match just perfectly. Kind of fun, huh? And here's one of my paper towels. Look at all the pretty colors it ends up having on it. So anyway, you don't have to keep your paper plates, but I do recommend just using paper plates to start with because they're cheap and it gives you a nice big surface to mix with, and eventually you'll figure out what you like to use best. Now, a couple more things about my studio. Like I said, these windows, it looks almost brighter in the camera than they really are. You can see the painting doesn't have a whole lot of light on it. So what you can do is you can just go and buy some of those little clip-on lights. And the best thing that I've found is to aim the light up at the ceiling and have it reflect off the ceiling. When I moved into my place, it had these dark brown walls, and I'm now thinking that I will paint them white just for painting purposes. I do like the brown, but I had a video studio set up. I produce online videos for people when they want to do teleseminars or that kind of thing. So that's where I have these fancy lights from. But you don't need fancy lights. You can just get the clip-on kind. Now, what happens, you see there's a nice soft light on here now. Yeah, pretty nice. What happens if you use, let me show you this, sorry about the walking around. There we go. Maybe you can see this. So at first I aimed the light right at the painting, and you see how it kind of shines and reflects, and that was really distracting to me. So that's why I aimed all the light up. There's my Violet Flame. She was stretched on a canvas like everything else, and because I was in California, I had someone for $20, he took her off the stretcher. She's just hanging here right now. I need to have her stretched again. And that way I could roll it up with wax paper on the front and take it home. One more thing about canvases. I've just gone to Michael's. They're having a big sale today, and they often do, so you want to get on people's email lists. And I bought various canvases. This large 36 by 24 is normally about $50, and I got it for 67% off, so that was only like $17. But it's nice to have some canvases around. You'll need 2 of these as a beginner, the 24 by 36, 1.5 inch wide. Now, there's there are a few things you can do to save money. The second time I bought canvases, or I should say after the canvas that Flora gave me, I bought just a more, what do they call this? It's like a discount canvas. It's very narrow. It's stapled in the back instead of folded. So it's cheaper. And it's been working just fine. I find that it's a little bit rougher here, and I think maybe there's some ways that I could have treated it before I started. But otherwise, you can see it's working fine. Okay, I'm just going to show you, sorry about this quick movement, how these 3 brushes work. So I use the larger brush for many things, like the shoulders, the outlines, the headdress, the river. And then this number 14 Filbert is mostly what I use on the face. Yeah. And here's my number 2 bright. And I use that for all the outlining. All of this outlining was done with this. Okay. So that's all. All right, my dears, I think that's everything you need to know. Once again, this is my little home studio. And this is where it all happens. Very simple. Put a canvas down on the floor before you cover it in paint like I have. And have a great day. Love you guys. See you soon with more tips. Hey ladies, one more thing I wanted to show you that I forgot to show you was my easel. Now easels are pretty expensive and I liked using an easel. So, and since I was also out of town, what I did was I bought a little $18 easel. Comes in these pieces, these unscrew, and basically it's, let's see, 8 pieces of wood. And it's not terribly sturdy, but it's pretty sturdy, and especially if I put this leg right back in the corner, it's been doing just fine for me. I think it's lovely to have one like this that you can travel with. I put it in, believe it or not, a yoga bag, a yoga mat bag. You can imagine it fits in just nicely when it's all broken down. And like I said, it was $18, and that way you get to start to see what you need. I know for me, I'm going to want a very sturdy one because I sometimes push against the paint, against the painting. You know, who knows? By the time I'm done, maybe I'll be throwing things at the paint. I also wanted to show you these, and let's see, they call these are the practice boards that she was talking about. This is called a Canvas Panel Value Pack. And you can see there are 5 of them here, and they're 16 by 20, and the 5 in the package were $20 altogether. So that's nice, and it's got the same nice finish as the big canvases so that you can practice. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Bye.